it's nowhere near the worst. It's nowhere near the worst. And we wrap back around to certain things. Eternals, some of the Incredible Hulk threads. We talked about, we had a Widow in there from, Black Widow. We mentioned Ant-Man. It kind of, we were in it. So
one thing though.
Yeah. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Mo Reacts, one of my best friends, Bryce Brisker. We just got done watching Captain America: Brave New World, and we're gonna kind of do just a little movie discussion, movie review. We've talked about it a little bit since we watched it, trying to sit with it a little bit, have some visuals going to remind us, and we're just gonna kind of get loose with it. I kind of want to start with the good before we go into any of the bad or give any ratings. Kind of want to go into the future of Marvel and what we think might happen after this. They touch on that a bit here. Purely as an MCU fan, does this feel like an organic segue? And then all the things they were trying to tackle in this, did that land to you?
Did it feel like a traditional Marvel movie? Short answer, yeah, it felt cool. You know what I mean? It felt like a cool little bridge movie to get us into the next wave, It didn't feel like they skipped over any stones or anything like that. I felt, at home with the script. It felt like it had good pacing.
I mean, thematic, again, we talked about an election that just happened in our country, for sure. This is political. This is Anthony Mackie versus, Harrison Ford's now recasted Thunderbolt Ross, and how that was two sides, but then there was that leader who was navigating everything. Again, that's an interesting narrative, but I know you also were talking about Thunderbolt Ross in the comics and what you've seen.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, if we're holding it to two different levels, right? I mean, you're not gonna hit the nail every single time when it comes to how someone hits the adaptation screen. So that's cool. That's totally cool. But I don't know, bro. Like, I was just telling you in the theater when we was watching, I was like, bruh, I don't know if he seems like much of a hard ass. Just like 2008 or any prior version or representation of Thunderbolt Ross.
Yeah.
My guy's been tough. He's always been hard as nails, you know what I mean? He's militant, always type of dude, carry a cigar in his mouth everywhere you go, But like, he's really, he doesn't have like a lot of empathy when it comes to like moving, and he's running like, an order, as a general. And yeah, to be a past general on top of being a president, it should already have like a militant vibe. And I think Harrison Ford didn't necessarily. Amazing actor, has a lot of range. It's cool to even see Harrison Ford as like, an antagonist. But I definitely think that just the character, especially when it comes to Hulk, we were talking about the aesthetic of Hulk and like the Red Hulk. Red Hulk has a lot of like cool, he's basically like, how most people like to view a badass villain that opposes Hulk, especially, he's like a devil Hulk, Hulk's already a beast, he's a powerhouse, but when you add like, I don't know, it just feels like adding Harrison Ford in corporation with the movie is like putting a Harrison Ford skin on Red Hulk versus just like, consuming the Red Hulk as it is for the first time. So,
no, and that makes a lot of sense. And I know I was bringing up some points about like Harrison Ford being a big name, and obviously a big name amongst nerds who loves, like myself, who loves Star Wars and Indiana Jones and everything. So once he's in the movie, it puts seats, it puts butts in the seats, and also like. We were also talking about other people who could have maybe been Thunderbolt Ross. Like, we were talking to Star is Born, like Bradley Cooper's brother in that. I can pop a picture in there. And maybe they did kind of go to some other people first. But ultimately, I was thinking maybe they kind of dialed back on that super strong, traditional Thunderbolt energy, maybe because an election just happened. And they didn't want to, it felt like, they didn't want to lean too much on one side or the other, depending on how you voted, when I feel like at the end they kind of did very quickly. But again, for me, it mostly felt like there was something pulling the strings that are making these two sides want to be divided. You see these things in stuff like even The Boys, was another comic book, and it was a satire.
I've seen too much of The Boys, not too much of it.
I won't spoil too much.
It's going to be disappointing, but
yeah. No, I mean, you have time to catch up. They have one more season, so you can watch it in between that last one comes out, and that should honestly be well. But no, I mean, with that being said, I guess I did like that balance so much because I didn't really see Red Hulk too much as a villain. I saw again. It came to our attention that he was dying, and so he made a deal to take those pills, and that's what put him in that position. But we also spoke about he has this maybe unsaid secret with his daughter that he was also grappling with, and she was distant with him, so we don't even know the true nature.
Yeah, and it's cool because you gotta. The sign behind every bad guy, there's a little bit of empathy, and that's cool, But it's I think that type of energy that came from Thaddeus Ross, especially the sentiment with his daughter, I think that's really cool because you get to actually see the realism that grounds a villain to become a villain, which is any victim, you know what I mean? But
speaking of,
it just felt like a victim story versus it being an uprising of Thaddeus Ross, which anytime in the comics he's pretty much he's very assertive when he has a plan, you know what I mean? He's military, so he always has a double alternative, so
for sure. And speaking of a victim being painted as a villain or being a villain, the whole Isaiah Bradley he didn't.
That was a crazy part.
Yeah, started off just doing his thing, helping Cap. Didn't want to go, as he said, in the belly of the beast, because we know what happened to him in the past and being experimented on. And took a turn for the worse. So we also saw that story, which even I said in the theater when he had that moment where he shot and then ran and then didn't know what was going on. It made me also think of Alzheimer's and kind of parallel to that through storytelling as well.
Phasing in and out of his senility,
Yeah. So, and then I also said, once we visited him for the first time, that when the gravity hit of, the guard who let Sam Wilson in to talk to him was working with the widow, and we didn't know where she really stood at the time, and how the stakes were being risen. So it was moments like that where this film did give me some gravity, but I think also kind of fell short a bit. How'd you feel about his new Falcon?
Oh, Joaquin. I think it was cool. I'm excited just to see where all these secondary, because these are legacy titles, you know what I mean? Like Falcon, Captain America. If you look at it on the opposite end of DC, there's a lot of legacy titles, you know what I mean? Like Flash, Robin, you know what I mean? But as far as staple names, like Falcon, it's pretty cool because in the comics there's different interpretations of Falcon. If I'm not mistaken, I know he has a live bird, but I thought even at certain variations of the comics, Falcon even had sonar, kind of like Banshee or Black Canary. So it's cool to see where the evolution goes. I did think the craziest implement was this is no spoilers because this is spoilers, right?
Yeah,
bro. The crazy combination was the damn shield and the AI robot, right? Was Red Wing? Red Wing was a dope combination as far as not Anthony Mackie, not Steve Rogers or anything like that, Chris Evans, but legit just a Falcon, Captain America cohesiveness between their fighting styles alone was pretty cool, and then to see that with Falcon aiding him too. Tragic that he had an accident, crazy rookie mistake, but learning curve, especially when you're putting your life on the line, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and again, these are people without the super serum, so again, it's I'm glad that they kind of explored that. They did the same thing in Hawkeye a little bit, where Hawkeye and Kate Bishop had to spend time wrapping up and icing certain areas and all that. So not everybody's running around, as Guardian and everything. This is really funny for us. The parallel to I Can Do This All Day.
Bro. Okay. Yeah. That was funny. I don't know if they did that intentionally. I don't know if anybody else caught that.
And what was it he said again?
Bro, so this is when he's going from case to case, warehouse to warehouse, cracking everything down. And he bumps into some big dude and they get to work, all right? But it's a parallel to him and Bucky or Steve Rogers in the alleyway when he was getting his ass whooped. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I could do this all day.
But big dude asked Anthony Mackie, Captain America, he was like, "You ready?" He was like, "Can you want some more?" And bro was like, "What do you say?"
He said, "I got shit to do.
To do today."
And I feel like it's a tiny thing, and maybe it's not gonna explode in the culture like it did for us in the moment.
Nah.
But it was just a funny parallel of I could do this all day versus I got shit to do.
I'm sure the memes are already going, but if you go back and watch that, it's peak. It's funny as hell.
Yeah, and I mean, again, for me, there was moments where it did. I mean, we know this went through a lot of development changes. Like, there's a lot of actors who you see them on set behind the scenes, and they said, "I didn't make the final cut. I saw the film. I don't know what happened."
Right.
There's moments where even when Bucky and Sam are standing next to each other, I can see that some moments it looked like they maybe were in the same room, but that wide shot, it was definitely like a cut of both of them maybe talking to, like, it was spliced
Different
together.
timings, but just
Yeah, and that happened with and we need to talk about him more, but with one of the last Giancarlo Despacito films or moments in the film when they're like in the tunnel way, it didn't even look like Anthony Mackie was there in the moment. It was just tiny things, but I try to take myself out of all that. And again, no, I'm watching a comic book movie at the end of the day. But how did the Serpent King hit for you, Giancarlo? Did he live up to anything, or did he fell short?
he played his part. He's played his part. I think he has a lot of parallels to Baron Valentino, from Civil War. He's an instigator, so it's kind of cool. I don't know what his background is in the Marvel universe, so could be a character that might add random value just being written in, because they've done that with a lot of different characters. But yeah, I think it was just cool. It was just cool seeing he's always had some dope ass range. He's done voice acting. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's done everything from Spike Lee movies, so it was cool seeing
Breaking Bad,
especially representing the Spanish side too. You know what I mean? Like, there's a deep influence of Spanish culture within this first half of the film. So yeah, pretty sick.
Yeah, he started out speaking Spanish. He was good, but then he wasn't the head of it all. It was the leader from the Incredible Hulk, and we were going crazy on his head the whole time. You said popcorn.
Yeah, bro. Okay, so it's the leader, right?
The leader.
I said the thinker. I was messed up, right? So yeah, he's a good actor too. Especially they did him dirty. They did him dirty in the original Incredible Hulk. You know what I mean? He was what was he, Mr. Dr. Green or something when in the original movie when they referred to him, and then Bruce basically made his way from Chile all the way back to the States with Betty. And that's the guy we're talking about. But yeah, Brad's head was fried. Brad's head was fried, right?
Yeah.
Popcorn head. I mean, I'm not trying to really go in. I was getting in on the movie, I'll be honest. I was getting on his nugget.
Yeah.
But yeah, crazy depth to the character. I'm glad that they brought it back. I was talking to Maurice about Betty being brought back in continuation. I thought it was cool how they still, bridge that old storyline with this current storyline. Yeah, man. As far as physicality and everything, overall look of the Hulk,
you said hand-to-hand combat. You weren't really rocking with some of those fight scenes.
Some parts in the beginning. There's just a couple of fight scenes that it feels a little too Disney. You know what I mean? I want something. When I think of villains, especially, and everything leading up to a villain, I think of Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider wasn't Disney production by any means, but if we're talking about major villains, there's no reason why a 2008 villain from, more than 10 years ago is rivaling a lot of our major, we're talking about, and a lot of people like to use the term planetary, a lot of planetary threats, and Gore. I didn't like Gore the God Butcher, personally.
Yeah, especially it being Christian Bale. Yeah. It could have been so much more. All right, let's round this out. So I got how do I want to display this? In the end here, but okay, throughout they talk about rebuilding the Avengers. If it's under Ross, it's controlled by Ross. Except now I guess he's not president anymore. I'm still curious if Thunderbolts are going to be connected to this at all, in the sense that Thunderbolt is the name of Thaddeus in a sense. But at the very end here, we get the end credit scene where the leader is in his cage and he's talking about defending Earth from different worlds. The Avengers having to do so. You had a really cool idea. I thought it was fun in the moment. Yeah, because he was I thought this nigga was gonna say over and over. Yeah, over. And he just kept saying it.
Psycho,
Yeah. You have to do it again. But either way, they set that tone and they let them know there's a bigger picture going on, and we're rolling. We talk about rebuilding the Avengers, so that's kind of in motion. That being said, where do you see, or before, I'm gonna ask, where do you see Marvel going. We'll keep it on like Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four. If you think they're going to be slammers or not, before we talk about that, maybe some scores for this one. What are you thinking? We can give decimals. I think I asked you before.
Scores on a scaling of what?
We'll go 1 to 10. Let's use some decimals. So points.
Yeah. But like in terms of like just overall quality,
Right,
Marvel
right.
movie to Marvel.
Yeah,
Because
we're
you
going
know-
MCU scale.
Do you know how many movies we've had so far? Like, dang, how many movies we got? I know.
Oh boy, yeah.
Average
They're
person.
30 something. 30
30?
something. If we're talking even TV shows, you might be in the 40s.
Okay, we'll say if we're in the 30s, right? There's a lot of good movies, especially as their first movie too. You know, like you gotta think about their first Thor, first, you know what I mean, first Iron Man. This is the first. It's not the first Captain America. This is the first.
And I'm even
Captain
thinking
Falcon,
like
you know?
TV shows as well. All our, from
it's-
She-Hulk
it's-
to Moon Knight to everything. Like, where do you put this?
As far to me, it felt a lot like more of a Marvel movie, but like kind of like a Top Gun type of movie. Top Gun
It did,
Secret
right?
Service type of
Yeah.
movie. So
Yeah.
it's like I have to put it in its own category, kind of up there with
Is it a Marvel?
Winter Soldier.
Yeah. I
If
think
I had
it
to
was kind of
compare
going
it
for that
on
same
type of
range.
Winter Soldier vibes.
Yeah.
I'd say on a 7.
Okay.
Yeah. Just because it wasn't too monumental, wasn't too shifting with the plot, you know. I didn't necessarily get my full fulfillment with Red Hulk, but it's cool.
Nice. Okay, we got to get 7. I'm using little decimals here. Yeah, I'm gonna give this on an MCU scale. I'm gonna go. Damn, it's interesting because I like a lot of the ideas of this, but maybe
It's not a bad movie at all.
Yeah, it's
No,
not.
at all.
So I'm gonna go MCU wise. I'm going.
Because you gotta think about the whole pie, you know what I mean? So it's like
I'm gonna cut out all my thinking probably. I'm just sitting here like, okay, I'm landing on a 7.1, which is so close. I could have just said 7, but it like fickled down. It started at a 7.4.
But that one point matters, man.
Yeah, it doesn't make a little
It takes the
difference.
skills.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not too, like I said, it's not too shifting. It doesn't shift the plot, but I liked it in terms of we're getting new additions to if we have a few. Yeah, so you were talking about future plans and whatnot, where they're coming with it. I do like the lead up, possible breadcrumb lead up of having a Avengers Point 2. They already talked about it, right? But we've had so many young apprentices come out of the limelight the past couple of years.
thinking
Starting
Young
with Kate
Avengers
Bishop.
is coming.
You know what I mean? I mean, besides Spider-Man. Yeah, exactly.
At the end of the Marvels, they had Kamala
Yep.
recruit Kate Bishop
Yep.
in a Nick Fury fashion. No, this is awesome though. So it's nowhere near the worst. It's nowhere near the worst. And we wrap back around to certain things. Eternals, some of the Incredible Hulk threads. We talked about. We had a Widow in there from Black Widow. We mentioned Ant-Man. It kind of we were in it. So
One thing though.
yeah.
Just to add, because we never know what type of trailers coming here in the next couple months. Marvel trailers drop like flies, right?
Yeah.
But as far as stuff like Armor Wars, and you know what I mean, like interplanetary problems, just like bro was talking about, instead of your own problems, everyone else's, but still on our level, right? They talked about adamantium. They talk about how scarce it is and how pretty much they want to preserve, you know what I mean? They want to excavate all of it coming up from the celestial, right?
Yeah.
So and they even they made a few key points how it's more valuable in some ways than vibranium, which is crazy because a lot of times in the comics, vibranium trumps adamantium. If you look at Wolverine versus Black Panther, that's the reason why Black Panther is really more agile because if you want to break it down, vibranium is like way lighter, more durable, but adamantium is just dense. That's why Wolverine is just heavy.
We were just playing some Marvel Rivals before we went on this.
Yeah, it was going crazy.
Okay, so how you feeling about the future of Marvel? We got like
I'm excited. I'm excited to see what goes on Earth primarily. Like, we got a lot of stuff coming out. Like it's exciting to see the multiverse, but I want to see more problems going on Earth. We were talking a little earlier about Denzel Washington possibly.
Black Panther 3 kind of rumors going on there. again, Thunderbolts, but they're really going to cater to Fantastic Four. That's the summer movie, July, that's going up against Superman. We're Stranger Things fans, so Joseph Quinn is the Human Torch. If you're a fan of The Bear, you got Evan Moss Backrack as the Thing. Which again, as we're filming this now, tomorrow we got Johnny Storm and the Thing dropping on Marvel Rivals, so this is all lined up for the release. Just generating hype. Some Vanessa Kirby, some Pedro Pascal, Sue Storm, Reed Richards, and Galactus. We got some John Malkovich coming as a suit. I mean, it's gonna go huge.
I'm excited for that. Galactus.
Yeah, it's the
especially
last
since it's taking place in like the 50s era. You know?
Yeah, very hyper
Jetsons type era, even though.
It's gonna be dope, and he can shrink and go big. So I have a feeling, even though we kind of see him on Earth, I have a feeling he's gonna.
He's doing size manipulation in this one.
Yeah, he's gonna be able to still be that big guy who can eat the planets. So yeah, very excited. And that's the last movie before Secret Wars, and in about 2 weeks we get Daredevil. I never watched the original Netflix Daredevil, but Daredevil Born Again, it's in this universe.
It's a movie coming out.
It's a TV show coming to Disney Plus in this universe. Yeah, Daredevil.
I got a lot to catch up on.
Yeah, they're going crazy. I mean, anything else you want to say about Captain America or Marvel or anything?
No. You know what I mean? Everybody gets an upgrade every time we come back. So, I mean, just because it's your first impression season doesn't mean that the next time they won't have, you know what I mean, some room to impress you. So
yeah, Cap's got room to grow. And showed a lot of promise in this.
Yeah, his combat sequences were cool. Only like a few minor, but yeah, combat sequences were cool. Yeah.
All right. Well, that is all. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.